Hello, hello.
Hi.
To the TWS member experience with
Woohoo.
my friend Kelly Anderson, who is a member inside the Workflow Studio. Today, we are going to be talking about how Kelly is using the Workflow Studio, things that she has gotten in there, and even gotten ideas about how she wants to use other things in the Workflow Studio. And the biggest intention for me bringing Kelly on today is really to show you what the experience is like inside the Workflow Studio, and not just from my words, but from an actual member that's in there and using the things and has seen behind the scenes of all of the resources and has ideas about how she's using this and can use this and continue to use this in her business. So I am so excited to have all of you guys here. What we're going to do is, if you have any questions at all about anything that we're saying here, you can drop the questions in the comments no matter where you're seeing this. If you're on Facebook, on LinkedIn, or IG, anywhere that you're seeing this, we'll be answering your questions and looking at your comments as we come here. But I want to introduce my friend Kelly. So, Kelly Anderson, you can partner with her in 3 different ways. By the way, she's phenomenal. And one of the ways that I love to partner with Kelly is I'm actually a member of her membership called The Zone. It is an exclusive invite only membership, and I just love being a part of her community. You can also partner with Kelly in copywriting and in propelling your career. She's a career coach as well. So, welcome, Kelly, and thank you so much for just being willing to talk openly about what your experience has been in the membership. So, yeah, let's get started. Let's talk about, before we jumped on, we were talking about using the connection tracker underneath the referral kind of marketing piece and getting that going for you. So as we were talking, there's some things that we wanted to bring up. So I want to give you the floor and talk about what came up for you when you looked at that connection tracker inside the Workflow Studio.
Yeah. So first of all, I want to say congratulations to you, Alicia, on the Workflow Studio, because you are a part of my membership for women entrepreneurs, and we have been talking about this for a long time. And I've been lucky enough to sort of see it come to fruition and be an early member. And oh my goodness, I knew it would be good just because it's your baby. Like, I knew that. But when I signed on the very first time and I started looking through this thing, I thought, what is this? Like, where has this been my entire entrepreneurial, journey, which is 6 years now.
Yeah.
And as someone who is more of a visionary, you know that about me. I sometimes get stuck in using, several different tools or systems or spreadsheets, and then I'm organized in my own little way, but then to try to hand that off to someone else, or to, something new comes in and I have to add it to my workflow, and I'm busy doing other things, and all of a sudden I look back and it's just complicated.
Mm-hmm.
And a few years ago, I decided I didn't want complicated anymore. I really wanted to simplify everything in my business. And signing into the Workflow Studio, that has helped tremendously already, just knowing what's in there. So it's not necessarily that I signed up and started using every tool or resource or template or workflow. It's and I don't think that's necessarily how it's intended to be used. It's almost like what it feels like. It's a breath of fresh air. It's a weight off my shoulders, because suddenly, when I want to streamline something, when I want to structure something, when I want to automate something, I know that I can go into TWS and find the right resource to help me do that.
Mm-hmm.
And I never had that before. And that's a huge deal to me. And that's a huge time saver. And then even better is if I need something that you don't have, I just send a little ticket in and I'm like, hey, Alicia, like this could be really helpful. And, voila, you likely, will create it.
Oh,
So
it'll get done. It's in you.
and the access to you is really like you're there, you want this to work for people. So anyway, all that being said, immediately when I signed on, I wanted the connection tracker. It's something that you and I have been talking about for a long time. And so as soon as the Workflow Studio went live and I knew that I had access to that, I wanted to jump right in. So inside the Workflow Studio, what's cool is that it's just so robust in terms of what you give. You're so giving in there. You give a video. So a video of the inside of that particular tracker. So if I'm talking about the connection tracker, it's, hey, when you get into ClickUp, here's exactly what you're going to see, right? Here's the reason for this particular, column heading. Here's how you can modify this to fit you. And we were talking before this about how you said, well, if you really want to automate everything, if you want to have a workflow for everything, if you want, tags for everything, then you'll want to do like this. We were talking about something else. And I was like, well, I don't really know if I want that or if I will, because I don't even know how to do that. Right. And so the fact that I can literally make a copy of this template and put it in ClickUp or download the CSV file and upload it to Asana. If that's what I choose to use, then it's like no matter what I do, I have that support and that robust template. The connection tracker specifically is a tool that helps you literally, and in referral marketing, relationship marketing, this is incredibly important. It allows you to track every single interaction that you have with anyone. So that would be if you're on LinkedIn, I like to use LinkedIn. So if I'm on there and someone, comments on one of my posts, I can track that. If someone messages me, I can track that. If Alicia emails me and says, hey, Kelli, I have someone that you need to talk to, I can track that. And I had tracked that off and on before, but it was always in a spreadsheet, like just a spreadsheet I made. And then, you sort of get lost in it all as it grows. And so the connection tracker just keeps it all super, super organized. And I'm able to take literally connections throughout my entire universe and have them in one single source of truth, which I think is really important. And then the support behind it. So if I'm like, this hasn't happened, but something doesn't really look right here. Can we add this? Or how would I do this? I know that I can put a ticket in and I have the support of Alicia and her team to help me with that. So that's just one example of, how the connection tracker, worth the price of the price of the entire, studio is this one connection tracker that you get access to, that I know it will save incredible amounts of time and it will help grow my business as well.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that. Yeah. And I wanted to add too, one of the things Kelli and I were talking about offline before we got on was that when she saw the connection tracker, and she touched on this a little bit when she said, she doesn't know, the connection tracker is robust, right? It has your tags, it has different views within, and it's optimized for ClickUp users specifically. However, there are CSV files that are inside the Workflow Studio, because I know that not everyone is a ClickUp user. Now, Kelli is an Asana user, right? It's Asana. Yep. So Kelli went in there, she saw what was possible inside ClickUp, and she was at this crossroads. And this is something that we were talking about before. And she was like, well, I'm not exactly sure if I really want to dive into ClickUp because you have this thing kind of done for me and optimized for ClickUp users, or if I just want to download the CSV file into Asana. Like, she was kind of at this crossroads, right? And so we were talking through that, and one of the things that came up was like that she doesn't know what she doesn't know, so she's going to test it out. She's going to test out the thing and ClickUp. And I told her one of the things that she can do so to help her make this decision is to just focus on the connection tracker for now. Don't try to download all of the trackers and try to implement all of the things at once. And she said this a little bit earlier, that the Workflow Studio is not intended for you to jump in and to use 30, 40, 50 different things to streamline your business all at once. Like, her focus area right now is referral marketing. Because her focus area is referral marketing, she went in and looked for solutions that complemented what her business focus area is, which was this connection tracker. So that led her to, okay, do I jump into ClickUp or do I not? So I recommended download it into ClickUp. By the way, ClickUp, don't hate me, but you can send ClickUp an email and see if they'll give you a discount on signing up for their service. You can sign up for free, but it only gives you like 100 little clicks in there before you have to upgrade to the unlimited plan. But I told her, just get in there, customize the connection tracker specifically to how you want it, following the videos that I have and all of that stuff. And then just make your own decision from there. And a lot of times that's what we're going to have to do. And the reason that the Workflow Studio is at the price point that it's at, and it's $330 a year right now. $330. I know, $330 a year, is because when you're in this space of DIYing your own systems and you're not sure yet if you want to hire a consultant or a virtual assistant, or you're not sure, and you're testing the waters and you're taking those first steps in these areas of systematizing, then you want access to test different things out, and you're really not going to know what you like or don't like, or what works or doesn't work for you, until you have access to something and see what could be possible. So I'm excited for Kelli to dive in and really make the decision for herself, once she starts kind of customizing it and doing different things, like, and say, hey, this was awesome, or hey, I actually think that I could upload this into Asana and it's going to work a little bit better for me. But now she has that knowledge of like what's possible. And even maybe she has something in Asana, right, that you could customize and be like, hey, I actually want these 3 fields. That's it. Let's keep working in Asana, right? So that's the access. That's a real life like situation that just played out like right now with a member in TWS. And not to mention, one of the things that she kept mentioning was access, right? So when we were talking offline, I said, you know what I'm going to do for the members this Thursday is I'm going to, because you gave me that feedback, I am going to host a training of let's set up your connection tracker. So when you get into the Workflow Studio, you are going to see that recording of us going live and setting up this connection tracker that Kelli's talking about. So wanted to add that because we want to be transparent here. I want you to come to your own conclusion of whether or not the Workflow Studio is right for you and if this is the right time for you. So that was a real life thing that's played out.
It was. And just to piggyback on that a little bit, I had told you it's been, I don't know, maybe 3 weeks ago or something. I was in the Workflow Studio. I was looking at the connection tracker and I sent you a message and I said, oh my goodness, I might switch to ClickUp, right? And I was like, because like you said, I can just literally, it's done for me. but I never did it because it felt way too overwhelming to take everything from Asana and move it to ClickUp. And I just didn't have the time on my calendar to do that. So what is it? Paralysis, when you have something that you want to do and you
Oh
just
yeah, like analysis paralysis.
yeah, I don't know if it's analysis paralysis, but I was paralyzed by the thought of I knew I wanted to do this. I knew I wanted to make the switch. Well, I thought I wanted to make the switch to ClickUp. I didn't really know, but I was like, okay, let me switch everything over. This will take hours. When am I going to find the time? And I didn't take that step. Well, as soon as we're talking, and Lacey is like, just do the connection tracker and ClickUp. That's it. Make it the way you want it with, the template, build it out. And then, well, it's already built out, but customize it for you. And then start switching things over one by one. And it was like, I don't know why I didn't think of that myself. Like, I don't know why I felt like I had to move everything over at once. So I would just say, if you are in another project management tool and you're thinking about moving to ClickUp and you're just not sure, do exactly what Alicia just coached me on doing and start with one piece, build it, see how you like it. And for me, I'm not using the paid Asana version, so it's not like I would be, paying for both tools. So that's helpful as well. But we're still talking, like, I think ClickUp's like $12 a month or something. I mean, it's not like you're paying $99 a month or something like that.
Right. Yeah.
Plus, if you can get the discount. So, so yeah, that was just like a quick light bulb aha moment for me that I could absolutely utilize ClickUp just for the connection tracker, work in two tools until I was positive that I either wanted to make the move over there permanently or not. But that, while you were talking, it brought something up for me, and it might be helpful for this group if I just sort of share how I plan to use three different pieces of the workflow studio for a new offering that I have. Would that be helpful?
Absolutely.
Okay. So Alicia mentioned that I do a couple of different things. I'm a copywriter, I'm a career coach, and I run a community for entrepreneurial women called The Zone. And I have I'm about to release a new offering on the career coaching side, and it is it's called Resume Fast Track, and it's basically reviewing resumes and giving some feedback, personalized feedback, and some extra bonuses in there as well. So as I'm thinking about how am I going to market this, how am I going to sort of do this as efficiently as possible to grow just this one offering, I was thinking about what I needed within the workflow studio. Now, my guess is that as I talk through this, you'll probably be like, oh yeah, and then you could use this and you could use this. So there are probably more things I can use within it. But immediately I was like, I need the connection tracker because I'm not a big like digital marketing ads like we just talked about. I'm more referral marketing, and I use a lot of LinkedIn and stuff like that. So the connection tracker, first and foremost will be how I sort of keep track of everyone who might be interested in working with me with this new offering. And then within that same folder within the Workflow Studio, I think it's under referral marketing, you have the client master list. And the client master list is like, okay, take all of those connections and then who turns into a client. And then, and because I have several offerings, right, within different parts of my business, within different verticals, I can use this client master list for every client I have, whether they're someone in the zone or whether it's someone in Resume Fast Track or the Career Propeller or a copywriting client. So I love, again, it's like this single source of truth where everything can lie in, this one tool, either Asana or ClickUp. And then within that, I have the single source of truth of here are all of my clients. Here's every single client that I have. So I'll utilize the client master list for that. And then the social media content hub. So with the social media content hub, I use LinkedIn. I don't really use any other social media channels, but I will be utilizing the content hub for all of my LinkedIn posts, assets, anything I do on LinkedIn will be, because I think you can put your content in there. Like I could put posts in there. I can schedule things out, right, for when I want to post, even when I want to go in and check the comments on a post or whatever. Like I can map all of that up or all of that out. So those are just 3 tools. And then also in the connection tracker, you have a whole follow-up sequence as well, where it's like, okay, so I'm just envisioning that Alicia tells a friend that I have this friend's looking for a new job. And she says, I'm really struggling with my resume. I don't want to go pay a writer, hundreds and hundreds of dollars. And Alicia's like, oh, you need Kelli's resume fast track, right? And so you intro me on LinkedIn or something, you tag me, whatever. And all of a sudden I'm in the connection tracker and I'm able to track that particular, that connection, that referral. And then, and know exactly where that client came from, right? Know how long from introduction to sale it took, right? So it's not even just the workflow, the template, the organization. I'm going to be able to pull out a lot of analytics around just, how long it takes, how many connections I need to get one sale. So those are just things that are popping in my head. And again, that's just three pieces of the Workflow Studio that I will be utilizing for this one offering.
That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you so much for sharing that. An exciting new offer as well. But yeah, like you said, I can see like your thought process of like tracking the leads. And like one thing that, it's inside ClickUp, but also other project management systems is tracking data. And then you can, when you're tracking the data that and the fields that I've put into the connection tracker or these trackers, you can actually create dashboards within ClickUp and other project management systems, depending on what you're using. But you can also create dashboards that data can feed into and say, Kelli, this is how many people are buying this new offer, right? This is the source that they're coming from. And that way Kelli knows, yes, I need to double down on LinkedIn, or, hey, you know what? Actually, anytime that I do a speaking event, right, I'm getting more conversion out of the speaking event than I am out of LinkedIn. So that's informing Kelli's business decision to do more speaking, right? So to your point, it's more than, these trackers are awesome and great for organization, but once the data is there, what you can do to take it to the next level and to make it easy, right? Because we don't want to overcomplicate. We don't want to have this tangled web of just all of these numbers, but really one of the things that I'll add is what you said about like when we were talking about just focusing on one thing. The motto at the Workflow Studio is one process at a time. Especially as a DIY solopreneur, you want, even if you're going to have 1 or 2 people supporting you and you're getting prepped for that support, or maybe you have someone in place but you're not really sure what other areas they can support you in. One process at a time is really how you're going to build that sustainable foundation for your business and be able to make it easy and do it in a way where you're not overwhelmed with all of the operational tasks that come with operations, right? Because everybody needs an ops manager, right? Let's be real. Like, we need somebody that's like keeping it moving. But if we're doing it on our own right now, right, we have to just think a little bit smaller in terms of like where we want to focus and what's going to be the most valuable for getting us to move forward in the business. Kelli mentioned for her new offer right now, the value that what's going to be valuable to her is using this connection tracker, even social media, being able to track with social media and maybe even offboard some of that stuff. There's an SOP in the social media tracker that you can literally just hand over to someone to follow step by step on how they input something and how they schedule something out, how they track the analytics. Like, there's all of that for you. But this is, again, real life of how you're using it and plan to use it, and how it can show up in like real life business, right?
Yeah, well, and I think you mentioned an ops manager, but like TWS can play the role of ops manager for you until you're ready to. That might be years down the line, in all honesty, right? If you're just starting
Yeah.
out. And I look back and I love how you mentioned, about one process at a time, because I remember starting out and I felt like I needed to do everything at once. And had I known one process at a time, it just would have, you look back and you're like, oh, had I known, I would have done it this way, this way, this way. But that is, I think, a really important thing, and a way to keep your business simplified so that a year in, you don't go and you have this tangled web of tools and systems and processes and this and this. It's, if you're starting out, I would say the Workflow Studio should be your first investment before you invest in any other person, a VA, invest in the Workflow Studio. It's barely an investment. I mean, in all honesty, like the price point is so good that it's not so much. You're not talking thousands of dollars, but this can serve as that ops manager. This can serve as that sort of second person for you when you start out. But then I also want to point out, for those of you that are watching and considering the Workflow Studio, who are 3, 4, 5, 6, 10 years in, this is for you too, right? So I'm not a beginning entrepreneur. I've been in my business for 6 years. So, and I'm finding amazing ways to utilize it. So it's for both sets of people, both sets of entrepreneurs. Those starting out, this should be the number one thing that you purchase before you do anything else. And for those of us who are a little bit further along, I would recommend, taking a step back and going, okay, what's one process that I can automate, one process that I can, systematize, organize a little bit better, and pay the 330. Is that what it is? 333, 330.
3:30 at the time of this recording.
At this time, right?
When we
Uh-huh.
do this recording, it may be like 5:50. I don't
It
know.
should be. It should be. But yeah, but
3:30 for the year.
yeah, but it's good for both sets of entrepreneurs, for sure.
Yeah. And I love that you said that too, because I think it's less about like how established an entrepreneur is and how long they've been doing it, and more about like, what do your systems look like on the
Yes.
back end? And even if you have things established, if you're at the point where you feel like they just need a little bit more organization, and you don't have an ops manager that's handling everything on the back end, or maybe you don't even want that too. I know for me, I want to keep my team small, y'all.
See, that's how I am too.
Very small. I'm not trying to build an agency. I'm not trying to do that. So I have to find ways to streamline and make things easy, make the task that I have to do every day easier for my business. And if that's you, this is perfect, because if you're not trying to do all the things, and if you do have an agency, it's really your ops manager or your OBM that can be in here poking around and like looking at the different things. It still works for you, but it's really probably not going to be you as the visionary in here. But if you're, like us and you want to keep things small, keep things easy and like keep the money rolling, but also like, let's keep it like this.
Yeah.
Then this is perfect for you. So thank
Yeah.
you so much for sharing all of that. And I'm just so happy, and I definitely want to just also share because I'm a part of Kelly's world as well in her membership. She touched on this a little bit, but I wanted to make sure that I said this and shared this that um, TWS was built out of community. A lot of that community was in her community, the zone, and just getting feedback. And so I want you to know that when you enter TWS, a lot of what you see, a lot of the experience, a lot of the first tools that are going in there, and there's going to be resources dropping every quarter, are built because Kelly has cultivated this group of women that give you feedback, that love on you and share thoughts. And I've taken and absorbed that and really put that into TWS. So I just wanted to make sure to share that. You do need an invite
You. You do
to
need an invite. There's
so
your girl right there. She can get you the invite.
no, it's not open to join her community, but that's just one way of working with her. Like she mentioned, Kelly, I'm gonna actually drop your website in the comments and everything to make sure that people can get connected with you. She said she connects on LinkedIn, so I'll drop her LinkedIn and her website. But you need copywriting services. She has her new offer coming out, which will help you put together your resume. And you said it was you called it fast. What was the name?
It's Resume Fast Track, which is
Resume.
funny. That comes from that too was a community from the zone. One of my zone members literally came up with this idea in 15 minutes, and I'm like, "You think people will pay for that?" And they're like, yeah." And then all of a sudden, there you go. So that was a cool moment. But it's a resume fast track, and it's for people who don't want to necessarily pay to have their resume, pay $500, $600, $700, $800 to have their resume redone, but need a second set of eyes on it to say, fix this, you don't want this, and then some extras in there on how to write bullet points, how to use AI to help, in your resume building and stuff like that. So, yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Anything that you wanted to close us out with, or anything that we might have missed, or anything?
No, I mean, I think I hope I've been very clear that that this is definitely a tool that you want, that you need, and I would just say trust in Alicia if you don't know her personally like I do, and trust that she has literally put her entire heart and soul into TWS. And it shows. I mean, when you sign in and just being a part of the community, she has said this over and over to me and to, mutual connections that we have, that she just really wants this to help people in a way that they can't necessarily get help when they're first starting out, especially. And it just, she's definitely practiced what she preaches in the Workflow Studio. So I'm thrilled to see you Thursday because you are going to help me build out my connection tracker so that I can actually get moving with it. But yeah, to me, it's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer. And if anyone has questions, you'll have my information. I'm happy to share, my ongoing experience with the Workflow Studio with anyone as well.
Thank you so much for all of the kind words and for agreeing to record this with me and to really share your experience. I know it's time out of your day, and just thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. So
thank you for having me.
Thank you, everyone who tuned in to hear about Kelly's membership experience. I will drop the links to the sales page below. Again, at the time of this recording, it's $330 for the year. If we weren't clear enough, TWS is a product membership, an operations product membership that has templates, swipes, and mini trainings to help simplify and systematize your business. And it's perfect for that DIY solopreneur. So thank you so much for tuning in. And I am also here to answer any questions about the Workflow Studio to make sure that it's right for you. So we'll see you later.